What are my options for an inherited property?
Ooh, so inherited property, you can live in it, right? You
Mhm.
could sell it. You could rent it. So let's
Yep.
just talk about those, starting with rent. All right, so if you're going to rent it, you got to think about the things that, that you have to deal with the rental in general. How much, you know, how much does it cost to fix it up?
Yeah,
You
is it
know,
a rentable shape right now, or do
right.
you have to put in 50, 100,000, whatever you need to put in to make it that shape?
Yeah, and then so if there's a cost up front, then how fast am I going to make that back?
Hmm.
So what is my net rent after I have, paid for all the different property taxes and insurance, and if I'm going to manage it, not manage it myself, a property manager, and what rent am I going to get? I'm going to spend 100,000 and get back 1,000 a month. I'm 100 months away from getting my 100,000 back.
Hmm.
Whatever it might be. So got to think about that as an investment, and it could be a great investment, especially if you keep it for long enough, and certainly a lot of the people do here. And so it really, but it is regional.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there are parts of the country where owning property isn't like owning property here. That's for sure. As a matter of fact, it's kind of stunning to me. But so then the next thing would be to sell it. So if you sell it, the big advantage to selling it is that there is a step up in cost basis.
Hmm.
So mom and dad bought this place for 100,000. It's now worth 2 million or more, here in the area. And so, if you sold it, there'd be this big gain and what have you. But when mom and dad passed away, when the second one passed away, they got a step up
Hmm.
in basis for you if you're the beneficiary. And so now I got a $2 million basis, not 100,000. And I'm simplifying this, believe me. But I can sell it without much tax
Yeah.
at all, right? And so that's kind of nice. Now, I guess one of the disadvantages is you have 4 out of 5 people that inherit money, it's gone in 5 years. So you basically just made that easier to happen.
Yep.
You took
You get
two
that lump
million that
sum
was
out.
locked into this house that you could have rented or lived in, and you took it out as cash, and there's lots of things you could do with it, so the temptation's there. And so sometimes you kind of have to do that because there's multiple beneficiaries.
Yeah.
And one of them wants to, there are 4 beneficiaries. One of them wants to sell. You got to figure out how to buy them out. Maybe there's other assets. Maybe you don't have the money. Maybe it's all
Hmm.
in the house. So you kind of have to sell it. So there's things that happen where you have to sell it. But I would be a little bit careful about that whole, money disappearing concept too, as far as that goes. Then of course the last thing is to live in it. And you're kind of the expert on the Prop 19 pieces here for
Yeah,
California.
so with Prop 19, so let's say you inherit a California house. If it was your parents' primary residence, so if it's not a primary residence, this does not apply, which is a big issue. So it's their primary residence. You would have, let's say their basis was 500,000. You would be able to jump that basis up to 1.5 million and be still tax free. So you could transfer it up for property taxes. You would still have that. The nice thing is this only affects property tax and not the actual capital gains basis for your taxes.
Yeah, yeah, and this is all new as part of this prop that nobody likes except for realtors apparently.
Yep.
My clients are really pissed off about it as a whole. They get quite violent actually. It's kind of interesting, but
Yep.
nonetheless, so there's some pros and cons to just living in the place also. So it's a good question. There's a lot of different options there. I think there's enough good options amongst those options that you probably can find something that works, and it's a pretty good situation to inherit some property in today's world with the way the tax laws work and everything too. So
Yeah,
not bad.
you have to evaluate your situation, what you're willing to do, what effort you're willing to put in to
Yeah.
get that money, and then
Yep.
are you willing to move to?
Yep. Exactly.